Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Safari Mack Explores North America. I'm Safari Mack, your guide and host, helping you make connections to the wild. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all enjoyed some of my short videos that I posted for you last weekend during my little family trip to Hutchinson Island in Stuart, Florida, off the East Coast. I can tell you, it was a fun time. It was a blast. But if you want to see more, be sure to check out a post that I will leave for you today on both YouTube as well as on my Facebook page. For now, though, we have to get ready to say goodbye to Yellowstone National Park, as well as finish up part 2 with our animal star today, the Trumpeter Swan, or as we know it, as Cygnus buccinator. But as always, if you're brand new to my channel, consider hitting the like and subscribe button to stay tuned for more content. Check out my Facebook page so that you can check out special conservation tips and projects that you can practice in your own backyard. And finally, if you have questions about animals, or if there's an animal that you would like me to do in the future, send me an email, which you'll always find the link to down in the description below. But if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's continue with wild things. Now, in part 1, 2 weeks ago, you probably remember that I said that trumpeter swans, when they're ready, they will find a mate, and they can possibly breed for life, right? They're monogamous. During the breeding season, they usually just only mate with one other partner. But believe it or not, let's say that if the entire nest is dead, let's say it fails to incubate or all the hatchlings sadly were killed off, they can actually divorce one another and seek out new partners. But of course, they will also seek out new partners, that is, if one or the other gets killed off. But I thought it was kind of funny how they can somewhat divorce each other. Now, here's a pretty interesting thing that I didn't know about when it comes to incubating. See, most birds will use their feathers to help regulate the temperature of the nests, right? To keep the eggs warm or to let them cool off a little bit so that they don't overheat. Trumpeter swans actually will actually use their webbed feet to sit on the eggs to keep warm. So, in addition to their whole bodies covering it, they're also using their feet, which I didn't think that they could do. Finally, I know I said that this is the largest species of swan on the planet, but they're actually also the largest species of waterfowl to be able to fly. In fact, a male is known to be up to 35 pounds, can weigh up to 35 pounds, and the female can weigh up to 22 pounds. So that, along with some other birds in the world, like cory bustards or other different species, which I'll mention later on in the future, this is one of the heavier birds to be able to fly. So can you imagine yourself having to hold up your own weight while being up in the sky? It must be difficult, because we need to remember, for a bird, their bones in their wings, their bones are really hollow, because this is what allows them to be able to fly, but they have to be strong enough to keep their body stable. And then finally, these birds can live for a pretty long time. In fact, the oldest bird, the oldest trumpeter swan, was a female that was identified back in 2015 in the state of Wisconsin. This bird was documented to be at least 26 years and 2 months old, while the oldest captive individual once died at the age of 32. Now, we need to talk about, now we're going to get into how they almost became extinct, and yet how they made an excellent recovery. Well, first of all, here's a map of North America of where these birds were once known to be living. As you can see, they were basically almost all across, they were a good portion of Canada, well into Alaska, and most of the northern states. While there were a few that may have made it to the to certain spots. You can see here they even once stayed here during the winter, but unfortunately these animals were almost hunted to extinction for a number of reasons. Their certain feathers or the skins were actually once used as powder puffs for makeup, as well as their feathers were often used for quills and ink. And as also they were also hunted to protect their crops, as well as to feed the fast-growing number of people settling in North America. Now, I know I said it was we consider it taboo to be eating swans, but back then, sometimes we have to abandon certain cultures or even traditions to keep ourselves going if we're going to survive. But there's more to this. Unfortunately, habitat loss today, even today, is a major factor in the bird's success because, unfortunately, these birds are very, very sensitive to habitat loss as well as changes, especially when it comes to pollution in the water, as well as losing their swamplands or their marshlands. So these, like I said, these birds almost did become extinct. Yet, thanks to zoos and many different organizations like this one here at the Lincoln Park Zoo, many zoos began to work with each other to actually start allowing those that they had in human care, or what we shouldn't be calling captivity, they would allow these birds that they were living with them to breed with each other, and as the offspring soon got old enough, as they were getting ready to be able to leave their families, they were then taken from the zoo settings and were taken to different parts of North America where they were reintroduced. And thus, this has helped the trumpeter swan recover big time. Here's the best way I could say it. Right now, from back in 1968, from what was nearly 3,700 individuals left, today there are said to be 63,000 swans all across the North American continent. So, as you can guess, the numbers are looking good. Yet, unfortunately, there's still a little bit of problems. As I said, unfortunately, they do still face problems from pollution, whether it's the quality of the water or the loss of their habitat, even over the immediate removing of crops from the agricultural fields. As I said back in part 1, they need these spots to be able to survive so that they can continue to feed as well as when they go on their migration. But there's another little side problem that I think needs to be addressed. Yes, the birds are coming back and they are being reintroduced to areas where they once were. It's even being tagged. As you can see, these birds are being tagged so that they can be monitored. But the problem with these captive bred or raised in human care birds is that they don't know when it comes time for migration, where do they go? It seems that this kind of information is lost. And so as a result, that can cause some problems. But we'll get to that a little bit later. For now, what can you do to help these birds? For one, don't allow pesticides or any other pollution to go into the water, like garbage. Support garbage cleanups. But also, as well as speak and demand that these lakes and ponds and rivers continue to maintain clean. But I think another big issue a major solution that we need to figure out is how to encourage these birds to, in a way, migrate once again. Now some species of birds have made comebacks from this and have rediscovered ancient migration paths due to using actually planes, like in the movie Fly Away Home with Jeff Daniels and Anna Paquin. But because it's helped other different bird species kind of come back. But if we could do this with trumpeter swans and rediscover some spots where they once lived, then we can have a better chance of ensuring more efficient survival for the species. Because while they seem adapted to living in a certain spot year round, it doesn't really seem to work enough, in my opinion. But then again, you tell me what you think down in the comments below. Another way people are helping by identifying where trumpeter swans recently have been found by reporting to the Trumpeter Swan Society, as well as iNaturalist. Doing all these things and making your voice heard about change to keep these birds around for the next 100 years or for as long as we'll be on the planet, you're helping ensure their survival and you're securing a truly beautiful bird species future. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid we have to say goodbye to Yellowstone. Join me next week as we head down to the Southwest and the desert regions where we'll discover the secrets of the coyote. But until next week, This is Safari Mack. I'll see you all out there.